"Don't move. He can't see us if we don't move," goes the famous line from 1993's Jurassic Park, said by the character of Dr. Alan Grant upon being confronted with an impending Tyrannosaurus Rex attack. This statement was based upon the idea that movement is what attracts most predators to potential prey in the wild. In the famed work of fiction, the tactic seems to work, if only for a while. But how might it have played out in real life? Well, considering the fact that Tyrannosaurus Rex was one of the most sensitive, powerful, and potentially smart predators of the Mesozoic, standing still might not have achieved much in keeping you safe here. In today's video, we will be looking at how one might successfully escape from the tyrant lizard king in the face of a hypothetical attack, if dinosaurs were alive at the same time as humans. What, if anything, could we do to outrun or outmaneuver such an animal? Would there be any hope of survival in the first place? Sit back and relax as we examine the reality of a Tyrannosaurus Rex attack, and what to do if you're ever, for whatever reason, confronted by the reality of one. Before we get into the ins and outs of surviving a hypothetical encounter with a giant theropod, let's take a look at what we're up against. A large Tyrannosaurus Rex, when fully grown, is thought to have reached a length of between 12 and 13 meters from nose to tail, with a height of roughly 3.5 meters. This makes it one of the very largest carnivorous dinosaurs ever to live, which can easily explain the animal's popularity in the fossil record and pop culture alike. To this day, Tyrannosaurus's name is instantly recognizable amongst pretty much everybody who is aware of dinosaurs, synonymous with an animal that is viewed as an aggressive monster, one that is capable of hunting and eating everything in its path. But how true is this? It's important to remember first and foremost that Tyrannosaurus Rex was not a movie monster, but an animal, a living, breathing creature that just happened to be a very well-adapted predator. Its life was much more nuanced than hunting and killing, and the animal would have spent much of its time resting, sleeping, socializing, exploring, and rearing its young. Hunting was just one aspect of a complicated life complete with senses, emotions, thoughts, and more. There is little doubt that if a human being was to encounter a hungry Tyrannosaurus Rex in this scenario, or one that was accompanied by young, then the animal would attack. However, if in this situation a human was to keep their distance and catch the dinosaur at a time when it was not actively seeking food or protecting offspring, there's a good chance that a dangerous encounter could be avoided altogether. The same could be said for many modern predators. Bears, for example, are generally one of the most feared predators in the modern world, but most of them only attack when they feel threatened. Around 40 bear attacks occur on average around the whole world every year, and few are fatal. Not bad for an animal that is gradually year on year coming into closer contact with humans. However, let's say that you did find yourself on the receiving end of a Tyrannosaurus attack. What would you be facing? Well, firstly, if the dinosaur intended to actively hunt you, you might not even see it coming. Despite the colossal size of Tyrannosaurus Rex, it was thought to have been an ambush predator, lying in wait amidst the foliage until it was able to get close enough to a prey item. It would then exit its cover in a short burst of speed, before administering one extremely powerful bite around the neck of its prey to bring it down. Much like a big cat or crocodile, the dinosaur relied upon the element of not being seen until it was too late for the prey item to make a reliable escape, before using its immense bite force to seal the deal. An adult Tyrannosaurus Rex was capable of delivering a bite with a force of roughly 35,000 newtons. This is over 100 times more powerful than a bite of a human being. and nearly double the strength of a great white shark, the animal with the strongest bite today. Tyrannosaurus's jaws were its primary weapons and were filled with knife-like teeth, some of which grew up to 20 centimeters in length. Just one of these teeth would be more than enough to easily dispatch a human, so just imagine what an entire mouthful of them could do. Not only was Tyrannosaurus a perfectly adapted super predator on the outside, it was just as powerful on the inside. A 2019 study found that Tyrannosaurus Rex's sense of smell was almost unmatched in the entire history of dinosaurs. The dinosaur was thought to have been capable of smelling food from miles away, with an olfactory cavity similar in proportion to that of a modern-day vulture. Moreover, its eyes were large, wide-set, and forward-facing, allowing the dinosaur to boast binocular vision that could help it see for considerable distances. Combine this with the fact that the dinosaur's cochlea bone within the ear was extremely long, allowing the animal to hear low-frequency sounds exceptionally well, and you have an animal that is built for calculated, planned attacks. So if the worst came to the worst and you found yourself face to face with a hungry, angry Tyrannosaurus Rex, what would be the best thing to do? It might be a bit late now, but what you should have done is keep your distance, preferably downwind of the predator. A particularly hungry Tyrannosaurus would likely be able to seek you out anyway, but ensuring that your scent is not blowing in the animal's direction or entering some nearby water to hide your scent would be a good first move. Submerging yourself would be advisable, providing the dinosaur is still far enough away. Although these dinosaurs were capable swimmers, hiding under the water for as long as you can would at least make it difficult to see. However, all this only applies if you've seen the dinosaur before it sees you. To avoid the predator seeing you, or minimizing the risk of an attack taking place, our advice would be to stick to open areas, providing you're in the Tyrannosaurus's natural habitat. This dinosaur relied upon ambushing techniques, so one of the best things you could do would be to stick to the plains and hills, steering clear from dense foliage that could conceal a large carnivore. Tyrannosaurus Rex wasn't the strongest of runners, so if you were able to spot an attacking one with a good head start, there's a strong chance you might escape the encounter in one piece. Recent studies placed Tyrannosaurus's speed at around 12 miles per hour and was unable to break into a sprint, just a rather fast walk. If a chase was to ensue, you could use your maneuverability against the dinosaur's lack thereof, providing that there was enough distance between yourself and the Tyrannosaurus. It is thought that the dinosaur would have taken 4 seconds to simply turn itself around given its size and speed. So running in a zigzag motion or circling the dinosaur at a safe distance might have given you the best chance of avoiding a colossal set of jaws. It would have relied upon its jaws entirely, as its small arms would have been rather useless in a hunt against an animal as small as a human. So as long as you stay out of reach of them, you might just be okay. Through circling the dinosaur repeatedly, there is a chance that you could make the animal's legs tire and buckle under its immense weight, causing the dinosaur to fall to the ground. This would buy you some time while the theropod attempts to regain its footing, which may have taken enough time for you to make a lucky getaway. The dinosaur would likely not have bothered wasting time on a prey item that could easily outmaneuver it. Part of the outcome would depend on where exactly and under what circumstances this encounter was to take place. What tools, for example, would be at your disposal? If you were to miraculously find yourself in the late Cretaceous with no modern technology, then it would be advisable to arm yourself with a large, sharp stick. This would very much act as a last resort and would do relatively nothing against an animal as dangerous as Tyrannosaurus, but might help you fend off some of the Mesozoic's smaller carnivores. Failing that, throwing rocks or utilizing humanity's ability to craft a fire might buy you a bit of time. Maybe. If, however, the encounter was to take place in a world where dinosaurs are brought back to life in the modern day, you might be a little safer. Using modern weaponry, driving vehicles, and entering modern buildings might give you a bit of an edge over the attacking predator. Although we can in no way condone the use of modern weapons against animals, we're assuming that this would very much be an every man for himself scenario. A world where giant theropods are appearing to attack people. Bear in mind that this survival guide applies only to Tyrannosaurus rex. It wouldn't even be a catch-all guide for surviving attacks from different tyrannosaurs, due to their vastly different habitats, hunting styles, sizes, and more. For smaller, more slender carnivores such as the dromaeosaurs and troodontids, it might have been quite easy, given the species, to fight your way out of a potentially dangerous situation. But that simply would not be feasible with an animal as large and as powerful as the tyrant lizard king. Some of these smaller predators might have been vulnerable to a simple threat display, raising your arms in the air and shouting to make yourself look more intimidating than you actually are, for example. An attack from a Spinosaurid, on the other hand, could have been mitigated by steering clear of large freshwater sources, or fleeing inland to escape oncoming threats where the animal is less adapted. Knowing each genus's quirks and habits would be a big benefit, but this is something we can't really plan for in the modern day without extensive, reliable research. Some herbivores may have proven much more dangerous than many of the carnivores. Some of the most dangerous animals alive today are plant eaters. Hippos, rhinos, elephants, bulls, moose, and bison are all capable of very serious attacks on human beings. So we can only imagine what their dinosaurian ecological equivalents would be able to inflict when cornered or threatened. Running away from an oncoming herd of Gallimimus, for example, an ostrich-like dinosaur that is specifically built for speed, would most likely be a bad idea, as would standing your ground against the swinging tail club of an Ankylosaurus. Hopefully, you're now a little more prepared in the event of a Jurassic Park scenario in the modern day. Or if you, by any chance, ever find yourself deep within the forests and floodplains of late Cretaceous Montana, attacks from dinosaurs, just like with modern animals, would be much more nuanced in life than we might be led to think by Hollywood. And if the circumstances were right, you may indeed stand a good chance of making it out alive. Catch yourself cornered, ambushed, or using the incorrect strategies to escape, however, and it might be a very different story.